good morning. My name's Brenda. I'm with the Evergreen Vicenci Club, and this is our exhibitor briefing for the lure coursing test and trial this weekend, as well as the coursing ability test that we're offering this weekend at the Tacoma Polo Field in Roy, Washington. First, I want to cover the rules for COVID-specific restrictions. We are allowed in the state of Washington to have a gathering of our size because it is an agricultural event for exhibiting dogs, and we are obligated to follow the very specific rules that are laid out by the state for an event like ours. So first of all, that means pre-entries only, which have already closed for the event. So that's the reason for pre-entries, is to not be exchanging cash on the day and to limit interaction like that. Also to have a predictable entry and to be able to give these briefings in advance. The second rule is stay home if you're sick. Take your temperature in the morning before you come to the trial. If you start to feel sick on the day, let us know. Yikes, okay. And wear your masks all day long. Anytime you're outside of your car, even if you're fully vaccinated, we don't know that, so the rule is everyone wears a mask anytime you're outside of your car all day long. We're also going to try to spread out things that would normally be a congregation point. So we're going to have a number of things that keep it such that you don't need to hover around the secretary's table. We're going to have an ability to look on your phone. You don't need data access, you don't need internet. We're going to have a local Wi-Fi router that allows you to pick up a running order, and you can see if your dog's coming up soon. You can see what color coat your dog needs to wear in the lure trial. So you won't need to hover around the secretary's desk. And we're also going to try to change some of the routing. If you've been to the Tacoma Polo Field, you know that there's a congestion point where people tend to gather. We'll try to separate people away from that and have a separate exit point. It'll be more clear when we're there. But just think in mind, anytime we seem to have a congestion of high density people, somebody speak up and make sure we spread apart, okay? Disinfection, we don't usually try to share equipment in this kind of time, but sometimes people are new and we don't all have our own equipment, so be sure to sanitize all your equipment if you find yourself sharing it. In between, before you take it home, sanitize everything before you take it home. And last thing is that we aren't going to be providing coffee or lunch potluck like usual, so prepare it in advance to bring anything you will need for the day. Try not to rely on borrowing from friends. Bring all your own masks and disinfection equipment and such. Okay? At the polo field, the preference, in fact, the Tacoma Polo Field owners require that we enter on the side of the 8th Avenue, so with the address that's marked 29125, there's a post at the entrance. Come in the entrance off of 8th Avenue. Your GPS may take you to a different entrance, but stick with the 8th Avenue entrance. Drive slowly as you come in. The potholes will probably make that happen anyway, but drive slowly because there may be dogs running. Pick up after your dogs. The only toilets available for use are the porta potties, and I think that's just about it there. The run order, again, there'll be a separate video that explains the online tool and how to look for your dog's run order, but generally speaking, you'll be able to see whether your dog's coming up soon. Please try to be ready without over-congregating, okay? And it'll be a balancing act, and luckily we're outdoors and it'll all be fine there. We will do an inspection before the trial and before the test. We're inspecting each of the dogs to be sure that they're sound, and we'll be checking to see that the bitches are not in season. We'll have a box of tissue paper that we'll hand. You can pull a tissue and check your own dog. So we'll minimize handling and touching of each other as much as possible. Loose dogs are a big hazard to each other, and so a loose dog that gets down on the field and interferes with the running of the other dogs is a financial penalty. It's a $5 fine, but more than that, it's a hazard. So please do everything you can to ensure that your dog is safely secured. If you've got a nice little buckle collar that is normally fine. It may not be strong enough for a dog that's incredibly excited about the lure, and we don't want to punish a dog that's excited, right? So encourage the dog to be excited, but make sure that you have equipment that keeps them safe and not running out onto the field. The other thing I'll mention particularly about excited dogs is even if it weren't COVID times, we really should be keeping our distance. The dogs are excited, they want to be getting out there, and they may it's not the time necessarily for dogs to visit each other, because they may interfere with or not behave the way they normally do when you're out on a nice walk. All right, photos. We have Lori Gregory at our event this weekend, and she'll be taking photos. Her website is www.jumoke.com/photos, I believe. Jumoke is Jumoke. And again, we'll have this information linked on websites and things like that. Questions. So again, try not to hover around the secretary's table. Try to direct your questions to other people, and we'll have several people wearing some kind of green, we're part of the club, ask a question, and that'll help. Let's see. Coursing ability test specifics. I'd like to go into the specific briefing information for our CAT participants. First of all dogs over 12 inches at the shoulder will run the full 600-yard course, with a few exceptions. So first of all, if you have a veteran dog, a dog that's over the age of 7, veterans may run a shorter course. That's your choice. Let us know. I hope that we'll have this figured out in advance, and then it will be published in the run order, because we'll group the 400-yard dogs together. But if we don't have it figured out in the morning, we'll figure it out at the briefing, and so be flexible on that. The other thing is that the dogs that are under 12 inches, or the dogs that are over 12 inches but have a facial structure where their muzzle is shorter than their skull and the airflow is different, like pugs, Boston Terriers, boxers, some of the mastiffs have that structure. Those dogs must run the shorter course. It's a health and safety consideration to be sure that they get enough oxygen and they don't overexert themselves, and so they will run the 300-yard course. And again, I think we'll have this all figured out in advance, but if not, we will figure it out in the morning of the event. And if there's any concern when you go to the field to run your dog, we'll make 100% sure there that you're running the right distance course. The dogs are going to be judged based on a pass-fail. Do they exhibit the instinct to chase or course the bunny around the field with pretty much consistent enthusiasm and so on? If they run the full course largely without distraction, then that's a pass. There's a timer, but it's only just to make sure that they're not going too slow. Any dog that's going consistently is going to make time, and we don't record the time, and the time isn't something that's on a sheet, and the faster dogs don't win anything differently. It doesn't work like that. It's just pass fail. You earn titles in coursing ability tests. If you have 3 passing runs, you earn there's a hummingbird. You earn your coursing ability title. If you have a total of 10 passing runs, you get your coursing ability advanced, and a total of 25 runs is your coursing ability excellent title. Anytime you're having a title run, let us know, because we have a special ribbon for you and we want to cheer and celebrate with you. So let us know if you have a title on the line. And finally, collars. So in the coursing ability test, your dog may run with a collar, but it does need to be closely fitting, nothing that dangles, nothing that might get caught up in the line. Or you may run your dog without a collar at all. That's how most of us run our dogs. It's part of the game, and it's safer that way. And I think